Well, good morning and welcome to a new series of readings which we're going to be doing over the next few weeks from now, just after Easter, up until Pentecost. And it's not normally a time of year that we do readings, but we felt this year with the coronavirus situation it was good to not just have readings through Lent, but to continue after Easter. And we're going to do that for the next few weeks, looking at some of the Psalms. And we're going to begin today with Psalm 1. Let's read that now. Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever he does prospers. Not so the wicked. They are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. This psalm contrasts the fortunes of the righteous and the unrighteous, and in a sense it anticipates what Jesus will teach about the broad and narrow way in Matthew 7. It gives the impression of a harsh, dry, testing situation, and how the righteous and the unrighteous respond. The righteous, it says, that describes them like a tree whose roots go down into the water, because they have the word of the Lord, and they meditate on it day and night, and are nourished. Their leaf does not wither, they prosper, and they produce fruit in season. In contrast, the unrighteous, who are not rooted in God's word, are described as like chaff, the husk on the outside of a grain of wheat. It's rootless, it's dry, it's not part of the fruit, it's not useful for anything, and is blown away by the wind. That first verse tells us what the righteous should not do. It says, blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, and does not stand in the way of sinners, and is not seated with mockers. Particularly thinking about that last verse, not seated with mockers. We live in an internet age where mocking and ridiculing is very, very easy, and reason debate is difficult. The temptation of the world is to sit with the mockers. But God's word says that is not what his people do. Think about that next time you're posting something on the internet, or liking something, or commenting. Think, who am I sitting with? Am I sitting with the mockers here? That first verse tells us what Christians, what God's people should not do. In contrast, there's a book by a man called Watchman Nee. He was a Chinese pastor who was imprisoned for his faith. Before he was imprisoned, he wrote a few small books. One was on the book of Ephesians, and it was called Sit, Walk, Stand. And in contrast to that first verse, it takes those three words, sit, walk, stand, and tells us where we should be positioned rather than where we shouldn't. Sit. We are seated with Christ in heavenly places, Ephesians 2. Walk, because we are established with Christ, we walk in righteousness in the world, Ephesians 5. And then when we walk in the world, we also stand against the devil's schemes, Ephesians 6. So that's what we do. We sit, we walk, we stand with Christ in righteousness and against the devil's schemes. Let's think who we sit, walk and stand with this week. Is it with the wicked and the mockers, or is it with Christ and the righteous? Amen.